Mogul Rupert Murdoch has come under attack during a hearing on the phone hacking scandal at the British Parliament. The session was briefly halted after a protester threw a foam pie at the News Corporation chief. The man has been detained by police. Murdoch and his son James were testifying about the phone hacking activities of their tabloid News of the World. The elder rejected personal responsibility for the phone hacking and corruption scandal, saying he was let down by the people he trusted. Murdoch said he wasn't really in touch with the News of the World's operations because it was less than 1% of his news corporation. He shut down the paper after it was accused of bribing police, hacking into the voicemails of celebrities, politicians, journalists and murder victims. Former News International Chief Executive Rebecca Brooks also appeared before MPs apologizing for the scandal. She said she never sanctioned payments to police and that her firm acted quickly and decisively when new evidence of hacking emerged. The CEO of the embattled News Corporation testified in front of British lawmakers. Rupert Murdoch may have another fight brewing at home in the United States. As Press TV's Gary Anthony Ramsey now explains, there are some in his company who want him out.
The ripples of the News Corporation scandal in the United Kingdom have long reached the shores of the United States. It is the top story of almost all news outlets and on the tongues of people on the streets of New York.
Fair play to everyone who can build an empire that big. That's what you build it on. You build it on a swamp, it will fall down.
But the real trouble for News Corporation President Rupert Murdoch is not about the battle for public opinion. It's about control of his publicly traded company.
I think he's probably finding it somewhat surprising. I think he's taken great efforts over the years to try to protect himself from these types of things. And now that it's actually on his doorstep, he's not quite sure how to handle it, I'm suspecting.
U.S. media reports rumblings among some directors of News Corporation's board who now see Rupert Murdoch as a business liability. There is now reported talk of removing the media mogul from his current position of Chief Executive Officer after the stock dropped in value.
Last week it was down about 13 or 14%, and that's billions off the market cap. And it has really hurt the company, certainly from a reputational point of view. The board could be questioning the leadership. They could be questioning the CEO. In this case, that would be Rupert Murdoch.
Murdoch has been the head of News Corporation and its Australian predecessor since 1952. He's always run things his way, maintained control of the company's direction. But even with his direct involvement in the handling of the phone hacking scandal of his subsidiary News of the World newspaper, controlling the negative publicity and how the public feels about it is one thing he doesn't have. Rupert Murdoch controls 38% of News Corporation stock, so getting rid of him would not be an easy task. But even if the mogul decided to leave on his own, the question remains, just who would replace him? For years, the heir apparent for the corporation was Rupert Murdoch's son, James. Some now say that is unlikely because of his involvement in the scandal.
Just the whole idea of the News Corp as a family dynasty has been damaged. And that may be one of the biggest changes that comes out of this.
But for now, Rupert Murdoch remains the man in charge and the person at the center of a scandal whose end is nowhere in sight. Gary Anthony Ramsey, Press TV, New York.
Protesters in Yemen have held fresh rallies against what they call the U.S. and Saudi Arabia's